Founded in Beijing in 2009, the Beck and Stone Veterinarian Group has expanded to over 20 locations in Asia, including Shanghai, Hong Kong, and most recently, Singapore. Their latest campaign, My Pet Story, encourages pet owners to submit videos about their faithful furry friends.
I caught him with my scarf and took him into the clinic.
I spoke with Adam Cowlishaw, Beck and Stone's head of marketing and communications, about the campaign.
We developed the Moments campaign, or the What's Your Pet Story campaign, in response to our growing business in China, Hong Kong and Singapore. The reason why we felt stories in particular were a good approach for us was the fact that we were listening to our clients themselves who are pet owners. So their stories allow other pet owners to see the journey that they've been through and therefore provide that advocacy for us. So from a communications perspective, what we wanted to do was really use a media mix that allowed the discovery of those stories, which is why we've distributed these stories across social media and video platforms. So far, we've seen about 500,000 views of our films.
So how do you drive the new pet owners to your Facebook page and YouTube page?
So we're actually experimenting with some split testing at the moment. So we have some targeted advertising based on demographic kind of targeting. But we're also experimenting with some organic posting as well.
China's digital scene is a little bit different from Hong Kong and Singapore. So what platforms are you using in China?
So in mainland China, our primary channels are WeChat and Youku. And then in Hong Kong and Singapore, Facebook and YouTube. We're using Youku in a similar way to YouTube's product offer, so the in-stream advertising. And that really helps us generate reach very quickly. So that's just kind of your standard kind of media buy. In terms of more social engagement, we're using WeChat. One of the key things for this is actually building credibility with our partners. So we're working with key opinion leaders in mainland China who can really help us tell the story to a wider audience, and then distributing and sharing those posts across the network.
And you run the campaign over digital, and do you also run it on print or any other platforms?
Yes, absolutely. So we've been working with local media in Hong Kong specifically, so HKO1, we've also worked with Apple Daily. So we've tried to use a mix of formats to distribute our message. We launched the campaign on the 27th of April, and we've seen a really great engagement from pet owners and the public. So much so that we encourage people to start to share their own stories in response to those videos, and we've had a really positive response from them.
You mentioned earlier that the Chinese pet owners are a little bit different from the pet owners in Hong Kong and Singapore. Which story goes to which market?
Mainland China is a much more developing region in terms of pet ownership. If you think about the growing middle class in mainland China, that's really kind of a new phenomenon, if you like. When we look at Hong Kong and Singapore, it's a much more mature region. When we spoke to our clients, their own stories reflected the region that they were in. So for example, Sarah in Beijing told us about the time that she rescued her dogs off the street. And then when we look at Hong Kong, we saw one pet owner talk about how they battled through kidney failure with their pets. So the stories themselves were kind of reflective of the market. One of the things that we really wanted to do with the launch of our brand is really ensure that our message is consistent. It has a universal appeal. Some of the big themes within pet ownership in this region are animal welfare, and specifically we're big champions of pet rescue. So we really encourage people to be responsible pet owners in their communities. So that is really relevant in every market. The work has been in progress for probably the last year, and that really has been the result of us moving into Hong Kong and Singapore and realising that we are now catering to a much larger audience where there are market variations in terms of attitudes towards pet ownership. So what we wanted to do was really establish Doctors Beck and Stone as a consistent and relevant brand for the pet owners across the region. This isn't a moment in time. For us, this is establishing the next platform for Doctors Beck and Stone and how we continue to go out to the public.